Hello, Professor. I'm going to have my first presentation divided by three. First part is my uh, weekly summaries for the 2 weeks, which is 50% of my time. Second, I will go through my problem statement, 25%, and then Capsim for the last 25%. So for a strategic management, first going through the definition of strategic management. Strategic management is the analysis, decisions, and actions that an organization takes in order to create and sustain competitive advantage. In other words, it's a study of why some firms outperform the other ones. So the strategic management has three parts. First is analysis, decision, and then action. For analysis, it includes vision, mission, and strategic goals. Vision is the image of the company that what we will be in future. Mission is the purpose of existence of the company, why we exist, and what's our competitive advantage. So a mission could last for 20 years. And then the strategic objectives that are the objectives and goals that are aligned with the mission. So it includes having the internal and external environment, perceptual maps, different kinds, models of analysis, BCGs, Porters, stability, OTT, trends added at the end, and the ANSOFs, and then going through the decisions or formulation is what industry should we compete in and how should we compete. And then the actions is the implementation of the strategy in which we allocate the resources. So to define the strategy itself, strategy is how we want to achieve the goals. So it's the ideas, decisions, and actions that enable a firm to succeed. And strategy always comes from top, from BOD, Board of Directors, CEO, CTO, CMO, CIO. And strategy has two parts, creation and execution. And it could take at least 18 months to be prepared and minimum 3 years to be implemented. So that's why one of the reasons that the average CEO age is 4.4 years, because they need a decent time to implement the right strategy. And another point is that because strategy is something long-term mostly, so you cannot change a strategy so fast. You cannot completely change it because it's detrimental, because it's not something that you can change it like in 1 week or 2 weeks with some sessions. So also, if you have too many strategies, you will have resource problem. Why? Because basically, resource problem is the root of having a strategy. Because you have resource problem, you have to adopt and choose the right strategy to reach the goals of your organization, align with missions and the vision that you have. And regardless of the strategy that you have to be able to recognize the right issues. If you confuse the issues, you can never solve them. So it doesn't matter what's your strategy. And also for the trends, companies are spending millions to find the trends, but many of them are not successful. So we have to always take trends into account in our analysis. And also about the significance of culture. Culture is like a glue that sticks everything in the organization together. And with a good culture, you can never be beaten in the market. And also, we have to consider a leader's role, which is they pat on the back or slap in the face. Which one do they choose, and how effective are they? So to wrap up, vision, mission, and strategy should always be aligned together. In session 2, another definition of a strategy came up as organizing your mind to find solutions. So a company that wants you as a strategic manager needs you to solve their problem. So you have to be able to get all the data in different fields and then organize them to find the gaps. So resource protection is completely aligned with your strategies. So you have to manage your employees and leverage your human capital. So here is where the push and pull strategy comes into play. Sometimes you have to push and ask for employees to do something with no question and answer. Sometimes you have to pull and you have to sit with them or take their hand and walk them through the processes. So you have to always help people become their best and teach them to be brains, hearts, and emotions. And also the role of IT and tech in, as you mentioned, in 1985, there was no technology. The type of working was completely different. Now, these days, without technology, it's almost impossible. And also, globalization is an important factor that it's completely based on technology. So going into intellectual capital, actually intellectual capital is a measure of the value of a firm's intangible assets. It's the difference between the market value, the book value, and the market value. So the intellectual capital has 5 critical elements. And if you have all of them together successfully, you have an immune organization against change. The change that is continuous, and especially these days, the pandemic, all the organization, many organizations are challenging with it. So first is reputation, second, employee loyalty and commitment, third, customer relationship, fourth, company values, and fifth, brand names. So for reputation, whether a firm is notorious or famous, so it really matters because it affects the whole organization body. Then the employee loyalty and commitment. How important is it? Actually, in a study shows that 2/3 of the employees don't like their job, company, or boss. And imagine what if we could reverse that. And then going through the customer relationship, many companies are using HubSpot, Salesforce, Sugar CRM, Microsoft CRM, and they are trying to personalize their relationship with their customers. And then the company values. Value is the language of the competitive advantage. And the question is always, is our product or service tied in our company values? And then going through the brand name, in another study, if a customer trusts your brand, they are ready to pay 15 to 25% more, regardless of the country, industry, culture, or product, or whatever. And then going through the human capital has 3 independent activities. So first, you attract, develop, retain. So you must allocate 80% of your time and energy on developing your employees, your human capital, because firing is the last thing to do. So you have to emphasize on development and training. And for networking, you have to make sure that make others feel useful, not used. And you have to also take care of the value chain and stakeholders theory, that both are critical for long-term success. And also groupthink, it sucks the life out of your organization. And you have to be careful about it. You have to weed it out, because if you don't, so you will have a high turnover and you cannot rely on your workforce, which is the worst thing that could happen. Because an empty organization, an empty office makes no sense and makes no profit for you. And next strategy example is Tesla, that wants to produce a $24,000 car in 2024, which is a long-term strategy. And for reaching this strategy, which is long-term and it's not easy to be prepared, you need tactics. Tactics are more short-term and they are faster, we can say more agile to be changed depending on the situation, changes in external environment. For example, how you want to produce cheaper batteries. What kind of plant do you want to have? How do you want to manufacture? What operation model? And all of these are the tactics. And also a strategy is completely different depending on the culture, country, and industry. And it's not something that you say a strategy in Canada will work well in Germany. And that's why Walmart has failed in Germany, in China, and many other examples that companies haven't been successful everywhere. Also, we have to consider industry life cycles. If we have a product, we have to see, okay, this is a product in growth stage, and this product is in the declining stage of the industry. So how should they be aligned, and what are the glitches? And finally, strategy is defined by how you use resources to create value. So going through the problem statements, for Target Canada could not survive in the market and left in less than 2 years with 2.5 billion loss because of, first, no adaptation to the local market. Second, not having a clear strategy. Third, a flawed IT infrastructure. Fourth, poor distribution through SCM. Fifth, fast and numerous rollout of stores. To cope with these issues, Target should have conducted comprehensive research on the Canada's customers, competition, culture, customs, and local laws. Second, they should have adopted the same low-cost leadership strategy as in the US, not saying I have a low-cost strategy, but selling all the goods 20% more expensive than the US. Third, integrate all of its IT infrastructure before opening, like SAP with the Israeli company for the POS machines and many other companies. Fourth, preparing an integrated SCM system. And fifth, slower opening of stores with lower number for finding the bugs of the system. Walmart has been struggling during the last decade or 2 decades in Canada with e-commerce inefficiency, first. Second, constant employee lawsuits. Third, unethical act of bribery for opening new stores. Fourth, high food waste. And fifth, a low CHRB rank, which is 24 out of 100 for audits and social responsibility. So for Walmart to overcome these issues, Walmart needs to separate e-commerce growth strategy with its retail business. E-commerce is different from retail. So the strategy should be different. When they bought Jet.com, they should have known that they have to respect the new CEO. And now they have a lot of problems on warehouse and how to deliver the right product into the market. So second, they have to restructure the HR compensation system because of high number of losses. Third, they have to infuse ethics in BOD to prevent bribery, because the study shows that the BOD is always aware of these bribery activities to the officials of different regions, that they want to have the best places with the required space. Fourth, they have to increase the operations efficiency in social change management. Especially in many countries, it has been proved that many workers in the supply chain have had a lot of problems, especially in terms of their income and the way they are behaved. And finally, they have to act more responsibly with their employees instead of just boasting the use of solar panels for clean energy and stuff, because at the end of the day, this is the main problem that they are dealing with. So going to Capsim, because I have used Capsim in my foundation, so I will go as I think I know more than 70% of Capsim and many issues, and now I'm learning more and more. I'm in close contact with Capsim through sending emails and calling them. So we adopted in practice rounds the niche differentiator strategy in high end. So our products are size, performance, and high end. So the first mistake that we did was in our ideal positioning, we made mistakes based on a different file from Capsim, but it was an education purpose file. So we did some minor ideal positions were different, especially in the size market. So it had some bad impacts. Second, going through the marketing, uh, because we terminated and retired the traditional and low end, but we actually forgot to remove the promotion and sales budgets. So we spent about 4 million extra for nothing. And also for the production, we retired 2 lines. And here is the problem. These 2 lines comprise 71% of the total market in round 1. So we did a big mistake for ignoring 70% of the market suddenly. And what was the result? The result is in return on assets, we are minus 10%. It means, and also you shouldn't buy the whole production line, and they say you have to keep one because the market thinks that something is wrong, and also if you sell it, your inventory will be sold in half. So during my conversations with Capsim, a lot of back and forth, I understood that this was a wrong short-term tactic that we chose, and we should have done it maybe somehow like a life cycle focus temporarily, and then retiring it completely. So return on sales was minus 12%, which the reason was because of our loss, not net income. So our return on sales was not good at all. So asset turnover was not good, again, because we had the asset out there, but we couldn't use it in the maximum efficiency because we should have sold the entire production line. So return on equity, again, because of our loss, it's minus. And also, again, because of the production line problem, we sold just 79 million, a lot less than the other ones. So for the finance part, another mistake was that we actually went for short-term debt that was due at the end of the round. And especially when you are new and you need a lot of cash, taking some money as short-term debt causes, again, making loss for the company. And also, we didn't take a lot of much long-term debt to invest in our fixed assets like production line, improvement of production line, increasing automation and capacity. So in general, we tested something in these 2 practice rounds, but the situation went better in round 2, but still we were minus. So I'm in close contact with Capsim for how to manage this situation. If we want to leave 2 markets, how should we do that? And when should we do that? And this is the strategy that we are working on for the rear rounds. And also about stock out and inventory in 2 categories. We were completely stuck out in one category. We had inventory, and also we are trying to manage that. And also, as I told you, might be terminated production prematurely, and that's it. I hope that we can do a lot better in the next rounds. Thank you.